Hello, fourth graders. Today we're going to be talking about converting metric length. So we have been studying converting customary measurements. Now we're moving on to converting metric units of measurement. So what's so interesting is I know I showed you guys the Brain Pop video a few days ago, is that we developed the customary system, and it is a little bit confusing to convert because there's so many different things to remember. How many ounces are in a pound? How many fluid ounces are in a cup? But what's really nice about the metric system is they base their whole system around multiplying by 10 or dividing by 10. And each thing increases by those units, each different unit of measurement. So what's really great about it is it has these prefixes, or the beginning of the words, that tell you what you need to do. So I printed this page off, and this is one way that you can solve these metric conversions. Now, what's great about the metric system, like I said, is they all use this. Doesn't matter if you're talking about length, doesn't matter if you're talking about weight, doesn't matter if you're talking about capacity, they all use the same scale, the same system. So now there's two ways that you can solve these problems. One way is do exactly what we've been doing. You're using the same strategy, you're using the same skill, you can make a proportion, you can use that silly trick that we talked about going from a big one to a small one. Or this system is what you are going to be learning in 5th grade. So I wanted to teach it to you now so that you had some understanding of it. Now some people will catch this on really quick, others might find it confusing. So if you do find it to be very confusing, then let's go back to doing the proportions. If you think it's simple, that's awesome because you will be a step ahead in 5th grade. So first, before we start, let's go over talking about some of the metric units of length. So just like we measure things by inches and by feet and by yards and by miles, they have their own system of measurement. Now, they have a millimeter. A millimeter is about the thickness of an ID card. So think about a very, very thin ID or a credit card. That is a millimeter. A centimeter is about the weight of a paper clip. And you guys know what a centimeter is because those are also on our ruler. They're on the other side of the inches. A meter is about the width of a door. So how wide it is, not how tall, how wide. And then a kilometer or a kilometer is about the length of 10 football fields. So as you can see, these are increasingly getting larger, from very, very small to almost like your fingernail to 10 football fields, which is huge. So now that we know that, we can also look at our conversion charts. Because we see here that kilometers, which are about 10 football fields, takes 1,000 meters. It takes 1,000 widths of a door to make 10 football fields. A meter is 100 centimeters or 1,000 millimeters. And remember I told you that their system works on units of 10. And as you can see here, these are all multiples of 10. So let's first go over what we're used to. Let's take a look at the proportions. So let's say you get the problem that says 6 kilometers is equal to blank meters. Okay, well, we use the same setup. We're going to go right over here. We're going to look at our conversion chart. And we see here that 1 kilometer is equal to 100 meters. So I'm going to write that. 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So now we're going to do exactly what we've been doing. We want to match up our kilometers. We know that there are 6 of them. So 6 km. Now, same thing we've been doing. How did we get to 6? All right, well, 1 times 6 is 6, which means 1,000 times 6, because what you do to the top, you do to the bottom, is 6,000. Because we multiply our whole numbers, 1 times 6 is 6, and then add 3 zeros. And remember here that we're talking about meters, and we always want them to be together. So whatever unit we're talking about, they need to be on the same level. These are on the bottom, so our answer would be 6,000. Let's try one more using the standard method, the way that we have been practicing. Okay, let's say we have the problem 5 1,000 millimeter is equal to blank meters. Okay, let's take our conversion chart out. 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. So I'm going to write that. 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. Awesome. Now remember, I know we're talking about millimeters, so I am going to put my millimeters down here because that's what I know. And we want those terms to be matched up. Our units, millimeters, are together. Now, how did we get from 1,000 millimeters to 5,000 millimeters? We multiply by 5 because 1,000 times 5 is 5,000. So what you do to the bottom, we ought to do the top. And 1 times 5 is 5. We're talking about meters, so we must be talking about meters over here. So 5 is our answer. Same proportion, same strategy if you'd like to use that. Now, a different strategy, what I told you, is this one right here. Now, this is called a stepladder because as you notice, these are shaped like steps leading to the top, going up or going down. These are the different units of the metric system. So right now we're really just studying kilo, centi, milli, and then our regular units. But once you learn how to work this system, you'll be able to use all of them. So let's see how the system works. Remember, I told you that all of these work by the power of 10, increasing by multiples or being divided by tens. So how this works is we have to pick. What are we talking about? Grams, liters, or meters? Well, today we are talking about units of length, so we're talking about meters. Now, this is how this works. If you go up the scale, you are dividing by 10. The reason is you are going from a small unit to a large unit, and that's exactly what we talked about in the first system. If you go from a large unit, or a small unit to a large unit, you have to divide. That was very confusing. When you go down this scale, you are going to be multiplying, which might seem weird, but if you think about it, you're going from a large unit to a small unit, so that means it's going to get a lot bigger. So let's see how to use this. Let's say that I'm talking about 7 meters. So I'm talking about this unit right here. I'm in meters. And I'm looking to go to centimeters. So I'm going to start here on my scale, and I'm going to go down to centimeters. 1, 2. Which means if I'm talking about 7 meters, and I went down 1, 2 units, that means that 7 meters is equal to 700 centimeters. Let's try another one. Oh no, I use a different color. Let's say we're talking about 12 kilometers. So I see 12, or kilometers, is right up here at the very top. And I'm talking about 12 of those. Now, I know that I need to go down the scale. So that means I'm going to be multiplying because I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. So I have 12 kilometers, and I need to figure out how many meters there are. Equals blank meters. So let's see. If I have 12 here, I'm going down 1. And remember, I'm going to meters. 2, 3. So that means 1, 0, 0, 0. So that means that in 12 kilometers is 12, 1, 2, 3, 12,000 meters. Now, a great trick to remembering this is the one you'll hear most often is king, Henry, doesn't, usually for unit, drink, chocolate, milk. But my class and I last year, we decided it should be King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. That way, if you are posed with a problem, you can make your steps yourself. King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. So let's write that. King Henry died. This is your units. Drinking chocolate milk. What I also taught them last year is if you have your division, I put it up here. And I told them, pretend like you're stepping up, and the division sign kind of looks like you're walking up into the clouds. And down here you have multiplication. So if you need to go up on your chart, you're going to be headed toward the dividing sign. You're going to be taking away zeros. If you're going down the chart, you're going to be adding zeros because you're multiplying. So let's try one more with the system. Let's say we are going from 4,000 meters to blank kilometers. Okay, well, meters is our unit of measurement because we're talking about meters. If you like this chart better, you can use it. Remember, units, meters. That's the basis of it. And we're going to kilometers. So if we have 4,000 and we're dividing, let's see how many we need to divide by. We're going to kilometers. 1, 2, 3. Okay? That means that we need to get rid of, because we're dividing, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Because we are dividing by 1,000. So what are we left with here? We are left with 4 kilometers. So if you would like to print this off and try this way, that is absolutely great. If you want to stick to the method we've been working on, that works too. Whatever you choose, please let me know if you need help, and good luck today. Bye.